Can you tell us about that?
I saw him coming through the breakfast line, and I was through. I was getting ready to go on to class, and I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, Doc," I said, "Did you see TV last night?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Well, they had you on TV." And he said, "Well, about what?" He said, "I had no idea." And I said, "It was something about you may have killed your wife." And he said, "Don't say anything to anybody. I'll talk to you later about it." And we spoke later on outside.
Okay. And when you say later on outside, where was it outside that you talked?
It was in between the recreation yard and, or you go to education. It's like a square out there.
Okay. Are you certain that this was in the breakfast line, or maybe did you speak to him at class?
No, it wasn't in class. It was in
Okay.
breakfast when I spoke with him.
Okay. Did you in fact speak with him out in the rec yard then?
Yes.
Okay. Did he tell you anything more about the death of his wife?
At that point, he didn't. He just said that, he said, they're just doing that because my girlfriend is about to get out.
Okay. When he referenced his girlfriend, was that was an individual different from his wife?
Yes.
Okay. Did he ever tell you his girlfriend's name?
I think her name is Gypsy. I'm not sure what her last name was.
Okay. And you indicated that she was inside and about to get out?
Yes.
And what did you take that to mean?
She was also incarcerated.
Okay. Did you have any idea when she was going to be released?
No.
Okay. On that day, when you first talked in the rec yard, did he say anything else about the death of his wife?
No.
Okay. At some point later, did he talk to you again about that?
Yes.
Can you describe how that happened?
Yeah, it came on again, and it was a few weeks later that it came on. And I said, "Hey, Doc, did you catch it this time?" And he said, "No." And that's when he said, I want to get it right. He said, "They can't prove anything, so I don't know why they keep running it on TV."
Speaking about his wife's death.
Yes.
Did you have any more conversations about his wife's death?
Yes.
Was it that day that you talked more?
No, it was later on.
Okay. Tell us about that.
One time I had saw him outside, and we just began to talk about it, and he, I want to be clear on what I'm saying. I want to make sure I'm saying it correct. He, we talked, and he just pretty much opened up about it.
Okay.
And he said that he gave her some Oxy, and he had gave her some sleeping pills, some kind of sleeping pills. Okay. I can't remember, but the reason we had talked about, he said the Oxy because we had talked about Oxys in class because
Okay.
I had been prescribed those before, and I told him about an accident I had, and we talked about the Oxy. But anyway, he said he had gave her some Oxy and some sleeping pills, and then got her to get in the bathtub.
Did he say what he did next?
Later on, he just said he had to help her out. And I asked him what that was, and he said he held her head under the water for a little while.
Did he use the phrase, help her out?
Yes.
Okay. Did he ever describe, or did you ever ask him about why he killed his wife?
He said that she was in the way, that she wanted the house and the kids.
Did he ever speak to you about his wife having undergone plastic surgery at all?
Yes, he said she had some kind of surgery, and that's why she was getting the medication.
Okay. Did he ever talk to you about his feelings with respect to whether or not authorities could prove his involvement?
Yeah, he said they couldn't prove that he, did anything.
Did you ever see Martin MacNeill exercising, anything like that?
Yes, he would work out. He was on the weight pile sometimes.
Okay. You mentioned that you walked with him. Did he have any difficulty walking?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Did he ever walk with a limp that you saw?
I didn't see it.
What about use a cane?
No.
Okay. Did you actually observe him lifting weights?
Yes.
What kind of weights, what kind of exercises would he do?
I'm not real sure. I would just see him, you know, over under the weight pile. I never stopped over or anything.
Okay. You mentioned that Doc had a girlfriend. Are you aware whether or not he would write his girlfriend?
Yes, he would write her in class quite often.
Did you ever see some of these letters?
I mean, I didn't read any of them, but I see him with them.
Okay. Did he ever talk about how he would write his girlfriend?
I mean, he would write her there in class, you know.
Okay.
Asked you the question, did he ever talk about his wife? Did you see that? Mm-hmm. And your answer was, yeah, he said that she had passed. Mm-hmm. And he told me a lot of stuff that was going on. He said that, you know, him and his girlfriend got together before his wife passed, and he was trying to start a new relationship with his girlfriend back before, but his wife was so-called in the way. That's what you said, right? Mm-hmm. All of this started because some guy saw his picture on Nancy Grace, right?
I'm not sure about that right there.
Isn't that what you said in your interview?
The conversation started because a guy saw him on Nancy Grace, not as affair.
Well, yeah. Right. So you're saying that the conversation started because
Yes.
of Nancy Grace, right? Mm-hmm. And you said, I think I was in bed that night when it was on, and a guy came in and ran to me and said, hey, isn't it that guy in the A-plus class? Mm-hmm. Is that right? Mm-hmm. That's what happened?
Yes.
So I came in there and looked, and they were flashing a picture of him, and I guess it was his wife on the TV. Mm-hmm. Right? And you said, I looked and said, yeah, that's Doc right there. Mm-hmm. That's what you said? Mm-hmm. And you said, what are they saying? Mm-hmm. Right? And you said, they said, man, they said he killed his wife. Right? Mm-hmm. And then you went on to report in your interview, I said, oh, that's Nancy Grace, and you really cannot believe that. Mm-hmm. So I went on back to the bunk, and the next morning I saw Doc at breakfast, right? Mm-hmm. And you said, hey, Doc, they're trying to say that you killed your wife, and it was on Nancy Grace. Mm-hmm. That's what you said in your interview, right?
Mm-hmm. That's yes, right?
Yes.
And then in your interview, after you asked that question, this is what you said. Martin replied. He said, don't say anything to anybody about this, and we will go out later and talk about it on the rec yard.
Yes.
That's what you said, right?
Yes.
So we went out later and talked about it on the rec yard. And you hadn't heard anybody else talking about the rumors about Mr. MacNeill at that point?
No, this was early, and like I said, after it went on the TV, I went to bed. And then I woke up that morning, the first thing you do is you go to breakfast and then you go to class. And I saw him at breakfast.
And then Mr. Robinson asked you, what kind of things did he tell you about the situation, right? Mm-hmm. And then you answered, well, it took a few days. It's like he would open up and tell me something every few days. Mm-hmm. He would see me and say, hey, let's go walking this evening on the track. Mm-hmm. That's what you said, right? Mm-hmm. He pretty much told me everything. He said she was in the way of his relationship, she wouldn't let go, and he wanted to move on, and she was trying to take the house and the kids and everything, and he wanted it a different way. So basically, and over time, he didn't tell me all of this in one day. He would just tell me bits and pieces. So finally, he just came out and said that she had some plastic surgery, I guess, trying to fix her up to be in comparison to his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. That's what you said, right? Mm-hmm. To, try to look good, a little bit nicer for him because she was older and, she had some plastic surgery and he was trying to drug her up on OxyContin and sleeping pills to get her to pass out and possibly die. That's what you said, right? Mm-hmm. So when you said oxy earlier, you were referring to OxyContin.
OxyContin and oxycodone is the same thing. Basically, one of them has Tylenol in it or acetaminophen, the other one doesn't. I've had both of them, so yeah, I might have said OxyContin or oxycodone, either one.
Well, what you said in your interview was OxyContin.
Yeah.
You never said anything in an interview about oxycodone, did you? You never described the medical differences between OxyContin and oxycodone.
It's basically the same thing. I know because I've taken them, both.
In your interview, you said that he told you that that he was trying to drug her up on OxyContin. That's what you said, right?
Okay. Well,
Yes?
yes, that's what I said.
And then Mr. Robinson asked you, did he say anything else? And you answered, I mean, yeah, if you would ask me something, I would probably remember. But he just said that, you know, he was getting her out of the way. That's what you said, right?
Where is that at on the page?
On page 4.
I just want to read it.
Good stuff. So he knew that I had taken OxyContin before. That's what you said, right?
Yes.
So like I said, when we were walking, he just kept on increasing her dosage and giving it to her because she did not know what she was taking. So she would pretty much take what he could give her.
What he would give her.
Well, you're right, thank you, what he would give her. So that's what you said in May of 2013
Yes.
that he reported, right?
Yes.
And you were saying that that's what Martin told you, right? And then you go on, he just gave her bigger and bigger doses and it wouldn't do the job, right? That's what you said? So he convinced her to take a bath and lay back and relax, right? That's what you said? And gave her pills and hoped she would pass out in there and drown. That's what you said, right?
Yes.
And then you said, he said that he just kind of waited. And when she was kind of sedated and went under or started nodding out, he just kind of held her there for a little while. That's what you
Yes.
said he said, right?
Yes.
And then Mr. Robinson asked you, did he ever explain how he gave her the pills by chance, right? And you answered, he just said he gave them to her and she would take them because she did not know what she was taking,
Yes.
right? And then down just a little further, Mr. Robinson asked you, did he ever say that there was an investigation into his wife's death to you? You see that? And you answered, no, I brought it to him. That's what you said, right?
Yes.
And he said, oh, they're just saying that because my girlfriend is about to get out,
Yes.
right? And that's consistent with what you said here today, right?
Yes.
And then you go on, but he's never, I'm sorry, then Mr. Robinson asked, but he's never talked about any kind of an investigation into his wife's death. That was the question, right?
Yes.
And you answered, no, he would never say that. And then I asked him, do you think they are going to get you? And he said, they haven't said anything to me yet. That's what he told you, right?
Yes.
And then down a little bit further, you again said, he never said that they were investigating anything.
Yes.
Right? You testified here today about Mr. MacNeill allegedly talking to you about his wife and kids, correct?
Yes.
And did Mr. MacNeill tell you that his wife wanted to take the kids away from him as well as the house?
Yes, he did, if they went through a divorce.
And did he tell you that he figured that if he killed her, that he would live happily ever after and that it would be like a fairy tale relationship?
I mean, basically, that's what he was alluding to.
And that's what you told investigators?
Yes.
And then over on page 6, again asking about, did he ever say that it would be hard for anybody to find out how his wife died or how he killed? Do you recall being asked that question?
Yes.
And you answered, he said it would be hard to prove because they could say that she took all of that medicine because of the pain from having the plastic surgery, and she just kind of fixed her up a relaxing bath, and, you know, just accidentally nodded off in the tub.
Yes.
That's what you said, right?
Yes.
And do you see the investigator Robinson asked you there at the top of the page, did you ever notice him walking with a limp in prison at all?
Yes.
And you answered with a limp questioning? And And then you said, I mean, he had a slow walk to him, but I can't remember if it was a limp or not.
Yes.
All right? That's what you said, right?
Yes.
And then you go on, I know he kind of like the morning that I saw him, he looked bad and he was kind of slow that morning, but we always walked real slow. It was never speedy walking type. That's what you said, right?
Yes.
And asked you, let me just see if I just heard what you said. Did he tell you he gave her 4 OxyContin? See that question?
Yes.
And you answer, I mean, he'd say he loaded her up. He was giving her a bunch of them. That's what you said, right?
Yes.
And you go on, I mean, he said he was giving her a bunch of OxyContin, and I was like, dang, because he knew, like I said, that I had taken OxyContin to give her some sleeping pills or Xanax. That's what you said, right?
Mm-hmm.